Good morning, one and all. Today we discuss about functions of cerebrum. Already we covered the topic of anatomy of cerebrum, nothing but the structure of cerebrum. Today we discuss about functions of cerebrum. Mainly three main types of activity associated with the cerebral cortex. So they are higher order functions, sensory functions, and motor functions. So higher order functions is nothing but mental activities, whatever involved in memory, sense of responsibility, thinking, reasoning, moral decision making, and learning. So all these higher order functions which are controlled by the association area. Association area is nothing but which have both the sensory and motor areas, which is associating, mainly the association area consisting of association fibers which is present in the cerebral hemisphere, which will connecting the same side of the cerebral hemisphere. Next, coming to the sensory function, nothing but sensory. What are the sensory functions? Perception. So perception means receiving of pain, temperature, touch, sight, hearing, taste, and smell. All are comes under this sensory perception, which is controlled by the sensory area of the cerebrum. And next, motor activity. So motor activity, what is meant by motor action or motor activity? Initiation and control of skeletal muscle contraction. So which is responsible for voluntary movement. If you want to move your hand, you can move it. If you want your leg, you can move it. How it is happening by the cerebrum, which is having controlled action on the motor area. So first individually we discuss about these three different functions. First we go with the motor area of the cerebrum. What is the motor function of the cerebrum? Control on the muscle movement, mainly the skeletal muscle movement, mainly the voluntary movement. How it will be helpful for controlling the voluntary movement? We can go for that. It includes two areas, primary motor area and motor speech or Broca's area. So primary motor area. Primary motor area means it is situated in the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe, already everyone knows that where the frontal lobe is present in front of the head. So it is situated in the frontal lobe, but it extends from anterior to central sulcus. So central sulcus is separating the frontal lobe and parietal lobe. Sulci is nothing but separation. Okay, so it consists of cell bodies. These cell bodies are pyramid shaped, that is called as bed cells, which controls the skeletal muscle activity. Here in this primary motor area, two neurons are involved in the pathway of skeletal muscle. So upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron. Now we discuss about each function of the upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron. Upper motor neuron is a nerve fiber from bed cells, passes through the internal capsule to medulla oblongata. So internal capsule is a part of the cerebrum. So through that internal capsule, this upper motor neuron passes to the medulla oblongata. So in the medulla oblongata, upper motor neuron crosses to opposite side. Nothing but whatever happening in the optic chiasma, nothing but crossing over. The same thing will be happen here. Nothing but right hemisphere of cerebrum controls the voluntary muscle movement on the left side of the brain. For example, see here. See here. At the medulla oblongata, the crossing over takes place. See, from the right part, it will be moved to the left hand. From the right part of the brain, left part of the brain, it moved to the right hand. Nothing but the left brain is having controlling on the right hand, and the right brain is having controlling on the left hand, where the crossing over takes place. So here, the upper motor neuron, the crossing over takes place at the medulla oblongata. So after crossing over, it descends into the spinal cord. Nothing but it enters into the spinal cord. At certain level of the spinal cord, the impulses of the motor neuron are passed to the synapse. See here, synapse is nothing but at the one particular part of the spinal cord is acting as a synapse. Synapse is nothing but a gap where the passage of information takes place from one neuron to another neuron. So the upper motor neuron, which passes the information to the synapse, from the synapse it reaches to the lower motor neuron, which will helpful for stimulation of lower motor neuron. So what is the function of this lower motor neuron? The lower motor neuron terminates on skeletal muscle, nothing but it is the ending part is here skeletal muscle. So then the contraction of this skeletal muscle fiber takes place by the stimulation of lower motor neuron. See, motor neuron is responsible for contraction of skeletal muscle and destruction of what is happened means here when the paralysis takes place means the destruction of upper and lower motor neuron causes it leads to paralysis, nothing but any disturbance in the crossing over or any damage of upper and lower motor neuron, automatically the paralysis will be takes place. In motor area of the cerebrum, the body is responded upside down, nothing but uppermost cells control the feet and those in the lowest part control the head, neck, face and fingers, that we are calling as upside down. అంటే పైన ఉన్న బాడీ పార్ట్స్ అన్నీ కిందవి కంట్రోల్ చేస్తున్నాయి, కింద ఉన్న పార్ట్స్ అన్నీ పైన ఉన్న బాడీని control చేస్తుంది. Okay, so the uppermost cells control the feet and the lower the most controls the head, neck, face and fingers. So one part we discussed in the motor function, another one is motor speech or Broca's area. This is also present in the frontal lobe just above the lateral sulcus. Where the lateral sulcus is present, it is between the temporal and frontal. Is it right? It is also present in the frontal lobe just above the lateral sulcus, nothing but above your ears, the sides it will be present, which will helps in the muscle movement necessary for speech. See, exactly we observe the location here. See, this is Broca's area, this is the lateral side, see this is the side. So it is frontal lobe and at the frontal lobe the lateral sulcus is present between frontal and temporal here. So at the lateral sulcus we consisting of Broca's area. See, this red color area resembles this Broca's area or Wernicke's speech area. So what is the function of this means it helps in muscle movement necessary for speech. It is dominated in left hemisphere in right-handed people and vice versa, nothing but those who are right-handed it is dominated in left hemisphere, those in left-handed those are dominated in right hemisphere. So this is the function of motor cerebrum, motor function of the cerebrum. Next, coming to the sensory area of cerebral cortex. Already everyone know that 5 major sensory perceptions are there. In that 5, somatosensory area, auditory area, olfactory area, taste area and visual area. All these 5 areas are responsible for the sensory function of the cerebrum. See here in this image you can observe this auditory cortex and spinal visualization, visual cortex. See here it is occipital lobe is present, visual cortex, lateral side auditory cortex and here speech center, nothing but the Broca's area is present. Like that everything will be represented in the same diagram. Now we discuss individually about these sensory functions. So 5 different areas are present in the cerebral cortex which are responsible for the 5 different senses. First we discuss about somatosensory area. It is present immediately behind the central sulcus. Here sensation of pain, temperature, pressure, touch and awareness of the muscular movement and position of the joints are perceived. Somatosensory area, nothing but here the sensation of pain, temperature, touch, pressure, everything will be recognized by this area. And auditory area, where auditory area is present, it is present below the lateral sulcus, nothing but which is present in the temporal lobe. Here what is happening here, whatever the impulses is received, that will be interpreted and transmitted by the cochlear part of vestibular cochlear nerve, which will responsible for the hearing. Vestibular cochlear nerve is the 8th cranial nerve. So left side of ear sends impulses to right and right to left, nothing but here the crossing over is there, which will resembles always the left brain is left body is under control of right side brain and right side body is under control of left side brain. And olfactory area is nothing but olfaction, nothing but smell. Here it is situated in the temporal lobe. Impulses from nose transmitted via olfactory nerve, that is the first cranial nerve, which is responsible for the olfaction or smell. Next, coming to the taste area, it is lies just above the lateral sulcus. Just above the lateral sulcus means it is present somewhat towards the parietal lobe. Here it receives and interprets impulses as taste transmitted by the receptors of taste bud. How we can recognize the taste? When some substance is placed on the tongue, by the activation of the taste buds, the automatically the sensation is sensed by the taste buds, that will be sent to the taste area, which will recognized by the taste area. Then it will be sent impulses towards the tongue. Next, visual area. It is lies behind the parieto-occipital sulcus. Parieto-occipital sulcus is nothing but it separates the parietal and occipital lobe and includes greater part. In this parieto-occipital sulcus also, this visual area mainly includes more part of the occipital lobe. Occipital lobe is mainly present at the basement, nothing but at the medulla oblongata region. It interprets impulses as vision, which are transmitted by optic nerve. That is the second cranial nerve. Optic nerve is the second cranial nerve, which will mainly helpful for the transmission of impulses received from vision. And next, right now we completed two functions, motor function and sensory function. Next, the final most and important function is association function or higher order functions, which is performed by the association area. So these are connected to each other and other areas of the cerebral cortex by association tracts, and some are outlined below. Already we discussed that association area means connected to each other. Within the cerebral hemisphere, all the different areas will be connected to each other, that we are calling as association area. In this again we are having four different things, that is premotor area, prefrontal area, and Wernicke sensory speech area, and parieto-occipito-temporal area. See, first we discuss about premotor area. Actually, premotor area, the name itself indicating that before the motor area only it will present. So lies anterior to primary motor area. Where actually the primary motor area is present? It is present in the frontal lobe. So the premotor area is present anterior to the primary motor area present in the frontal lobe. It is responsible for coordinating the mental activities, and movements initiated by primary motor area are coordinated and carried out in a particular sequence. For example, anything for tying a shoelace or writing, learning, etc. What is happening here? Your muscle movement is also involved in this, as well as your thinking ability or your behavior is involved in this. Nothing but coordination of two things will be involved here. So it is also ensures that the learned pattern is repeated. For example, once you learn something, that will be remembered for a long time, and whenever it will be occurring in before you, automatically you can recollect all the information. Is it right? So for example, tying a shoelace, it is not a single attempt remembrance, but it will be learn that activity throughout your life. You can remember that. However, once your practice will be going on, automatically the remembrance is also going on. For example, you can learn something in your 10th standard or any inter, but it will be whenever they repeated the same topic in your bachelor degree or in masters, automatically you collect the information of that whatever you received and stored in that area, that can be automatically recollecting the information and interpret the data, whatever you are receiving and whatever already it is present, both are interpreting the data, and it will give some output to you. Next, prefrontal area. It extends anterior to premotor area. Nothing but already premotor area is present anterior to primary motor area. Nothing but in the frontal lobe. Again, the prefrontal area, it is anterior to premotor area. Nothing but it includes the remaining portion of the frontal lobe. It is also responsible for coordination of thinking and planning. Sometimes the instant decisions won't make any sense. Automatically you will take a second while and think for that. Then you have a plan on that, and you can proceed that plan. So thinking and planning can be under control of prefrontal area. Next, Wernicke's speech area or sensory speech area, which is situated in the temporal lobe, nothing but the sides, which is responsible for understanding language. Uh, uh, Generally, we know only one or two languages, but when you are thoroughly seeing or listening the other languages, you can try to understand that. So that will be mainly under control of this Wernicke's or sensory speech area. This will helpful for perception of spoken words. For example, one unknown language words will be listened by you. Whenever the same words will be repeated by other one, though you don't know the meaning of that word, but the same words will be repeated another time by any person, automatically that perception of spoken words will be there. Nothing but one, I know I listen these words once in a time, I somewhere I listen these words, like that perception will be um, there for you by this Wernicke speech area or sensory speech area. Next, coming to the Pareto-occipital area, which lies behind the somatosensory area and includes most of the parietal lobe. Already we discussed that visual area is including more part of occipital lobe. Here the Pareto-occipital temporal area involves more part of the parietal lobe. So which is responsible for interpreting written language. Whatever you are writing, though you can't understand someone's writing, but you can try to read that and interpret that. Interpret means what you are seeing and what you are reading, everything will be interpreted, and finally it gives an output. And ability to name objects, you can by seeing an object you can name that. How it will be happening means by the receiving the impulses, and that impulses reach to the Pareto-occipital temporal area, that will naming the object. Objects can be recognized by touch. Once once you can already know the objects, automatically whenever you touching the same object by the rough surface or any identification by the touch, you can decide that which type of object it is. And next, knowledge from past experience retained in this area. So thank you for listening.